Most dudes have zero standards when it comes to dating. Anytime it comes to dealing with the opposite sex, they'll go after anything that gives them a bit of attention or has ovaries and breathes. Especially if the girl they're dealing with has alarming and striking red flags, they'll act oblivious to this and get burnt the hard way most of the time. And the reasons can range from not having enough experience with dating women, the lack of having a pops or male figure in their lives whom never told them to avoid these types, or just pure ignorance when their boys try to tell them someone isn't good for them and still proceed to deal with that person anyway. And without this type of guidance, guys are left to choose whomever shows them a tiny bit of interest without even truly knowing who the girl really is. Which screams, you're living in La La Land, kind of like how I was. I used to have terrible taste in girls, personality wise of course. Between the redeemable good qualities that were sometimes shown, the bad ones would often overshadow them. And I'm not gonna lie bro, I would act like the red flags didn't exist just out of fear of losing the girl, because you know, society always tells men to simp and chase the woman, and so I really took that to heart. Putting up with this would often cause me to get my heart broken because I wasn't equipped with the knowledge that I needed to prepare myself to avoid these specific type of girls who would do manipulative, treacherous, promiscuous, and overall toxic things to guys they were with. And although I was grateful for those heartbreaks and the fact that it made me stronger and a better version of myself, I'm not gonna lie to you, if I had known this sooner, I would have had a smoother dating life. So these are the different types of girls you need to avoid dating. Number 1, ghetto girls. So these ones should be fairly easy to discern and tell from a mile away, because these girls are considered to be like the hot Cheeto girls, or other terms for these types could be hood, ratchet, messy women. You know those phrases, but you get the point. These types, amongst other types on this list, typically listen to rappers such as Sexy Red, Cardi B's, Glorilla, Spice Ice. I'm kidding, I know her name's Ice Spice. And typically tend to glorify the idea of being with a scammer, or as the cool kids will call it now, YNs, who are likely involved or semi-involved in street life or trying to become a rapper, whilst at the same time getting impregnated by these same type of dudes and eventually becoming single mothers. And just from knowing that alone, it's a bit of a headache, not even a bit, but it's a lot of a headache to deal with them, because no one, either being men or women who truly respects themselves, no one wants a loud, obnoxious, argumentative, disrespectful person who carries a lot of undealt childhood trauma. Nobody wants that, and it should not be your job to be her father, or in some cases mothers if some of you girls are dealing with hood dudes. It's not your job to fix them. And I'll give them some redeeming qualities. I mean, in most cases, they can be attractive or fine and come in any shape or size of your liking when it comes to the physicality aspect. And in most cases, if you're looking for loyalty, like let's say, theoretically speaking, if you got into trouble with the law or some shit, these are most likely the types to hold it down for you whilst you're in jail. But hopefully none of y'all got criminal records. Otherwise, you guys would be a perfect match for the hood chicks. But assuming you're a good man and you're looking for a good, high quality woman, I highly recommend you stay away from these types. Number 2, the self-absorbed girl. These ones are very egotistical, or some will call it narcissistic, and in many cases they think they're better than you and that you can never do better than them in terms of choosing someone that isn't them. These ones, similar to the ghetto chicks, are headaches because all they ever want to do is talk about themselves and only prioritize themselves and never their relationship, and also never allowing you to truly be yourself. I say be yourself very loosely because you should always try to be the best version of yourself, but not try to be someone you're not. Or they'll never let you get a word out without the conversation diverging back to themselves and yapping for hours and being very dismissive of what you're saying, which is an indicator of a lack of respect for you. And just a quick side note, respect for both parties should be reciprocated, and respect is the foundation of a healthy, functioning relationship, at least from what I've seen in healthy scenarios. But self-absorbed girls, or people like that in general, don't have that because everything has to revolve around them. And to also mention, they tend to be very superficial and only get with people for, let's say, things like clout, sometimes money, and tend to be considered high maintenance. So if you're a chill guy just like me, these ones you'll definitely not be compatible with. Number 3, the toxic women. Bro, when I tell you, these ones will deadass drain you emotionally and physically from how much they attract drama like a magnet. Arguments and conflicts is all these people know. Like, they literally wake up with Black Air Force energy, and chaos is like something that they thrive off of. And toxic doesn't necessarily have to be negativity, like how most people would describe in terms of like being argumentative and shit. But toxic ones in most cases come in different categories within this list. So for example, a gold digger, right? A gold digger is essentially someone who doesn't like you for you, but for what you have. Y'all could look at this whole Travis Hunter situation as an example. And they'll also leave you the moment you lose it all. This one should be a whole category in and of itself, but I want to bundle these types in this part of the video so I can highlight or emphasize the ones I believe you guys haven't heard or really need to know. But within the self-contained list, I want to address the jealous girl. These toxic types will accuse you of cheating or talking other people without even having the facts straight, and in some ways try to control you from seeing your boys and other people in your life, which is crazy. I know a few people who have dynamics like that where the guy's on a leash or the girl wears the pants. Those types of dynamics never work. And not gonna lie, most of these types of women / people have one, poor communication skills, but the jealous one takes the cake in not knowing how to communicate at all and going straight to being irrational, to making your life a living hell, whether it's like slashing your tires or trying to use manipulative crying tactics when they know that they're in the wrong, but they'll try to flip it back on you as if you're in the wrong. You know what I mean? If you allow it. And shortly after, they make you feel bad, even though they knew that they were in the wrong. 9 times out of 10, most of the time what will happen is that they're gonna give you sex, bomb sex at that, at least from what I hear from other people, to make you forget about their extremely jealous antics. Don't fall for it. Number 5, boss women. So these ones are not inherently bad, and it's a bit of a controversial one because this one requires a little bit of nuances to it. But I will preface by saying, man or woman, having some sort of ambition is a good characteristic to have. It's kind of mandatory, you know what I mean? You don't want to be a lazy bum that just does nothing all day, right? Guy or woman. But the ones I'm referring to are what you would typically see on Red Pill podcasts, and the types that only will lead with their accolades and think that men should care about that. Not to mention, they'll come with certain masculine characteristics in terms of how aggressive they are when they're speaking. I know there's levels to it, but they tend to like emphasize that more than the other types of girls. Kind of similar to the hood chicks in a way. And only want to date someone either that's on their level or above, which makes sense. I mean, hypergamy is a thing. You typically hear this in Red Pill talking points, but hypergamy itself isn't something you have to worry about, like how these red pillars will fearmonger you into doing. But I'll just let you know, if you're doing all the right things, like you're making good decisions in your life financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, just all around holistically, you'll be good. And you also see that these types have a lot of extreme feminism ideology with them, and will say cringe things you probably heard before, like, oh, I don't need a man for anything because I'm strong and independent, in most speculated cases and anecdotally speaking. From what I've noticed, they were typically raised by a single mother and told that they need to be strong and independent and never rely on a man for anything. And to some extent, being strong and independent is not a bad thing. You should be a fully self-sufficient adult human being, but at the same time, never think you could do it all by yourself. And this is a message out for men and women that needs to hear this. You need people's help to get to the next level of your life. That's something I have to come to grips with this year when I finally start to allow people in my life to help me, especially girls. But never think for a moment that it wouldn't be nice to have someone to help you and support you emotionally, physically, to make your life easier. But not to go on a whole side tangent, but men and women are supposed to come together and complement each other's lives and ideally grow together to reach each of their respective goals, whatever that is or whatever that looks like. But these types, at least from what I see, tend to be very anti-man and think they'll be happy after achieving all of their achievements by themselves, whilst also ironically selling that to guys, like the fact that they have all these achievements to make themselves appear more attractive to them. But unfortunately, in case you girls didn't know, most guys just don't care about girls' accolades that much. Like, it's cool that you got all these things going on in your life and guys that like you will take interest to it, but for the most part, it's not a deal breaker what her achievements are, just as long as she's doing something and she stays pretty or keeps herself tidied up, you know what I mean? But there is a caveat to this. I think this is a deal breaker for guys unanimously. Unless she does something like OnlyFans and she does things like sleeping with 100 guys in a single day, then yeah, that's a deal breaker. But most of the time, guys don't care about a girl's career. But then again, you don't know what you don't know. And you should also know that this goes against your nature, and women typically derive more happiness from being with a good, capable person and also building a genuine and a sustainable life with said person to share that with. I mean, sis, look at the studies. The studies show that they derive more happiness from connection and things like marriage than career successes. Just something to point out. Number 5, the internet girl. These types are like the female equivalent to a guy that's addicted to video games and doesn't go outside, or has really any goals and is straight up lazy. Every day with them is just posting their life on social media and scrolling on TikTok and vaping, smoking all day like a damn degenerate. It's also fair to mention, since, you know, they post their lives on social media, if you ever get into an argument with this type of girl, they're gonna air out all your business out for everyone on their Snapchat stories, their Facebook stories, their Instagram stories for the entire world to see. You know what I mean? Just so other people can get involved, and she typically won't leave it between you and her to figure out. So just avoid these girls overall. It's not good for your mental. And yeah, and this is an obvious one, but I have to put it up on the list because it has to be mentioned. The floor. Another term for this is thought, scoonty, party girl, promiscuous woman, loose woman, whatever you want to call it, that type. This one should be the most obvious, but clearly some dudes live under a rock and can't sense a slur from a mile away. I mean, some are undercover slurs, some are just overt about it. But just remember this, man. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, then it's a duck. This typically looks like the girl that loves male validation by posting provocative pics on IG and claiming that she does it for herself, or does things like partying, clubbing, and drinking a lot. And also has a ton of male friends. She either knows, likes them, wants to smash them, or has smashed them in the past, which you and I both know is no good. Now, I will say this, a lot of people have said this before, but these types are considered to be fun people to be around because of how laid back and cool they be. I mean, if you have a conversation with a thought, you can tell. And I know because I was friends with a few thoughts. I remember there was this one time where one of them posted themselves lying down on my bed to their Snapchat stories, and multiple other dudes, including a dude one of them was talking to at the time, slid up on her story asking who is that, like repeatedly. You could tell like she didn't respect him and she wasn't really taking him serious, and she was just texting bro by saying he's just a friend. And to come to her defense, yes, we were supposedly supposed to be friends, but just the way the dynamic was, I don't know if this is just how my dynamic was, other people might be able to relate to this. When you're typically friends with a thought and she finds you attractive, they'll allude to like sexual things and try to like touch upon you and allude to the fact that they want to get like freaky, which I should also mention that they are very freaky. But what do I know? It seems like everybody got their own definition of what being a friend is nowadays, so I don't know. But also, bro, I need to mention that you need to be extremely careful catching feelings for these types of girls. Because what I'll notice is that after spending extended times with these types of girls, most dudes would typically tend to catch feelings for them just because, you know, they're cool. But realize that they'll break your heart the moment she notices you like her more than she likes you. I mean, in most relationship dynamics, you should not like a girl more than she likes you, because I know guys tend to simp in that type of dynamic. When she has you wrapped around her finger, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't reciprocate or like your girl equally, but just don't over pedestalize her, or just don't over pedestalize people in general, guy or girl. But I'm going on a whole side tangent. We're talking about thoughts right now. These types will typically have high body counts, and there's biological and social reasons as to why guys don't want a girl with a high body count, especially in the double or triple digits. But I will say both is bad for both genders, but more so for girls, since by the time they reach around, I think they said 6 bodies, their ability to pair bond with you decreases significantly. And let alone she's a broken girl like the likes of Lily Phillips, where she has like 20, 30, 50 plus or more bodies, then I'm sorry, bro, if you cuff a girl like that, you're cooked. Like, I honestly don't know how you couldn't see that her soul was gone a long time ago. I don't know, man, but just be aware of these Jezebels. And a good way to tell if a girl's gonna be a thought is just to look at her friends. If a lot of her friends are birds, chances are she's probably one too. Now that you know all that, I hope you guys and girls took notes today. This was a bit of a hefty one, but one message I want to leave out before I end this video is to just choose the right person for you, men and women, because the person you choose can either build you or destroy you. Like, a good man or woman by your side can really highlight your life. And if you guys want me to make the opposite of like top 10 people you should be dating, I'll probably make a video on it if you guys want it. The choice is yours. Now that you have this knowledge, please, for me, if you found value from this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, dream big and take action. I'll see you guys. Peace.